every talk that I have with this statement, that I believe that truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtue. Without truthfulness, you cannot attain into any other virtue. You cannot grow as a human being, and you certainly cannot be healthy without truthfulness. Now, the issue arises when we don't understand what the truth is. When we begin to debate what the truth is, and I believe on a spiritual level that the truth is but one point. It is the ignorant that have multiplied it. And I think that when we look at truth and trying to unearth this thing, we have to know what happens. The brother talked about the fact that, this is not a popular statement. And one of the things that kind of guides what I do and what I think should guide what we all do, and that is whether or not it's true or not is not the only issue. Because I believe that not everything that a man knoweth can be disclosed, nor everything that a man discloseth be timely, nor every timely utterance suited to the capacity of those who hear it. Martin Luther King had a message that was true. He had a message that was timely, but he had a message that was not suited to the capacity of the people who heard it. And because of that, he is not standing here today. I want to kind of begin with this whole notion of race, because I'm going to take you through kind of a purview about race. And it's going to get from very, very involved, broad, to right up close and personal. So at the end of this, there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers. But I want to talk about the issue of race and who it is that we think that we are as African American people, as people. One of the things that I started to wonder about in this country in particular is how come we seem to continue to have this problem about the issues of race. And the truth of the matter is, there's a big old giant elephant been living with us, walking around a dinner table everywhere we work, big old elephant, and we've not dealt with that elephant. The reason why I know this is because of some of the things that I began to recognize that people do around issues of race that make it real clear that we have pathology around our issues of race. America has a pathology. Let me kind of give you a picture of what I mean by that. I had the opportunity, and I spoke earlier on Friday to a group, and I talked a little bit about my experience in Southern Africa. My sister has moved to Southern Africa, and I traveled there with 8 other African American women in 1994. When I arrived to South Africa, it was really fraught with a lot of difficulties and a lot of hostility. There was still blood on the streets in Johannesburg. So it was a pretty deep time. And one of the things that, I explained to people was that, if you're black and you go into Africa, there's a whole lot of stuff that happens to you. First of all, I tell everybody that when I got to Africa, it was the first time in my life that I felt completely normal being black. I met a sister that was in Botswana. And this sister in Botswana had done her studies in the United States. And she talked about the last year of medical school and how she sent for her daughter. She sent for her daughter to come be with her because she missed her, because she had spent so much time with her studies. But she says, surely the last year I'll send for her and she can be with me. And within the first week that she was there, her daughter ran in from outside and said, "Mommy, Mommy," crying. She goes, "What's wrong, honey?" She goes, Mommy, they call me black. They call me black, Mommy." And so this mother kind of looked and went, "Well, yeah, you are black. So tell me what the problem is." And it was at that moment, she said, that she realized what had happened to African Americans. And she got on the phone and she called her mother and she sent her home because she didn't want her to live a day thinking there was something wrong with living in this skin. And I said to this woman from Botswana, the only difference is I had nowhere to send my daughter. So what we have to understand is how we have begun to live in this skin. I tell people often that when I do a lot of talks, of course, at the university, and just so that you can kind of get a picture, Portland was touted as the whitest city in the United States. Okay, so I trained the Federal Bureau of Intelligence. Well, it didn't work, but I trained the FBI and race. 750 Portland police officers, I trained them then, and at that point, after I trained the 750 Portland police officers, I knew there was no one I couldn't train after that. I mean, after all, they had guns. Okay, so my experience in dealing with this issue and working with audiences is dealing with people who are in serious denial about even having a discussion about race. And so, consequently, when people walk in the door, and you have various people, and this represents a majority African-American, African audience, but there are people from different races that are here, so this audience is diverse. And what happens when I have an audience that is majority white, and it doesn't matter how many African-Americans or even other people of color are there, you know, when I begin to raise the issue of race, immediately I have to deal with the fact that we have people entering the discussion at different levels. This is what happens on your jobs, it happens in your classrooms, it happens everywhere. And you have people, bless their hearts, I'm not mad at them, I want you to know that. I'm not mad at them, because there is something called Race Relations and Understanding 101. Okay? And you know, you gotta go through 101 every now and then. You know, everybody, well not all of us, but a lot of people have to go through 101. Just to get to the 200 and the 300, 400 level courses. Now the problem is, in a lot of my audiences, I have the 101 people, often the liberal, open-minded, white person that says, are there still racial problems though? Haven't we really come a long way? And sitting to the left of that person is a black person saying, I want reparations. And my task becomes difficult because I gotta keep everybody alive in that room. And the blessing is that, you know, I know that you, as people of color, as African American people, have entered this discussion at the 600 level. There is no need to enter any bastion of education. There's no need for you to read about it. You have lived in the skin which has afforded you a 600 level knowledge and understanding. And you have entered this room there. And so this is not a 101 course. I also understand that there are, you know, undoubtedly people that, you know, no matter what you do, and they believe me, they come in all hues. Doesn't matter how many workshops, how much literature, how many, you know, educational programs that you get to them, they're never going to get it. I put these people in the category of those that have to die. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. No, nothing's going to help them. And I also respect their right to be here. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time with you. So, with that said, I want to move on and explain the difference in my experience in Southern Africa to start the preliminary discussion around race. And how that race issue in America, and you know, a lot of people I meet from different countries do, you know, they'll say, you know, I don't understand what's wrong with you people in America. You know, you seem to have so many problems with race. You know, we don't have those problems in our country. And I say, of course not, ain't nobody there but you.